Hello and welcome to the Disability Diva channel. I'm the Disability Diva, and today's video is probably erring on the side of a little bit controversial, given that I'm going to be discussing some topics that get me down with regards to my disability. It's not intended to disregard or quantify anyone else's feelings or opinions. Everyone's experience is different. This is just my top 5 dippity downers, basically. Living with chronic illness or disability or impairments or whatever you'd like to call it can be a dippity downer. We have our crappy days, whether you're able bodied or disabled bodied. We all have our bad days. And it's just as important to make people aware of the downside of having a disability or an impairment, because it's just as important to be validated. Although I still feel guilty about talking about my bad days with those around me, my support people, because I either think they're going to get sick of hearing about me whinging, or they'll pity me, or you just don't like to feel that failure, your inability to do something, whether it's physical or emotional. And that fear of losing that independence in any way, shape, or form can be debilitating. It is extremely real and very frightening. None of us like to ask for help. None of us like to feel like we're a burden to other people, especially when it's a recurring thing. One of my biggest struggles is admitting to myself that I'm not able to do certain things anymore. And gradually those things are increasing bit by bit, day by day. And no one wants to be a burden to anybody. So that's my dippity downer number 2. My third dippity downer is basically being poor. The disability support pension just scrapes it through, basically. It's not a huge amount of money. It's something that you really have to work with and budget with. And the fear of being a burden, both physically and financially to others, can really impact people with disabilities. And it's further compounded by the ridiculously difficult processes that you need to go through to access any financial support from Centrelink when applying for the disability pension or trying to access the NDIS. The legislation and the criteria and all the regulations that go along with it, it's almost like you're at a disadvantage because you have to fight for everything that you need to be independent, to support you, and to help you get through on a day-to-day basis, whether that's physically, emotionally, or financially. Dippity downer number 4 is pain, and these are in no specific order. Pain is subjective and is not easily visible to people on the outside, and chronic pain especially. We get very good at hiding the pain we're actually in. Acute pain and chronic pain differs, and you can experience both at the same time. But having a chronic disease with chronic pain associated with it can be emotionally and physically draining. It's ever evolving. It depends on anything from the weather to the amount of activity you've done for the day to stressful situations, a whole combination of things. And it's very difficult for other people to understand and comprehend. the amount of energy it takes to live with pain, basically. It can be all-consuming and exhausting. That leads me on to Dippity Downer number 5, fatigue. Fatigue is probably my worst enemy. You can take a tablet for pain. There is no tablet for fatigue unless you've got ADHD. But fatigue can really get you down. If I have spent the day in bed purely because I have no energy, I feel like I have not accomplished anything for the day. I haven't been productive. I need to get out and do something. And then that compounds my feelings of guilt, and the cycle continues. So fatigue is really one of the biggest problem. It's one of my biggest obstacles that I have to accept and face and learn how to pace myself just to get through each and every day to the best of my ability, and not be too hard on myself if I haven't achieved everything that was on my to-do list. There's always tomorrow, I suppose, but it's that mindset of being organised and making sure everything's done, and just the feeling of accomplishment more than anything. If I haven't achieved what I've set out to achieve for the day, then I feel like I haven't been productive enough, and then I start to feel guilty. So that's my top 5. There are numerous others, but I don't really want to make an extensive video on the negative stuff. It's more to bring awareness and to just let people know that we do have our bad days, and sometimes it's nice to just have someone reach out and say, hey, do you need a hand? Something simple like that. Anyway, I promise the next video won't need a Valium chaser. So until then, Diva out.